I am supreme. Rest in peace to Angie Stone. My condolences to her family and friends. Um, I'm going to light my protection candle before I do this reading. This candle taps me into the etheric realm and it sends a light, a smoke signal of protection, protecting me from whoever does not want me to communicate with Angie Stone's soul and to receive answers on her death. A lot of speculations and rumors are traveling the internet, YouTube, it's just traveling the world of her followers on how she died. We all do know for a fact that she transitioned through a car accident on her way home from Alabama. She was on her way back to Atlanta from Alabama. Okay, I'm going to shuffle up my decks before I start pulling cards. While I'm shuffling up my decks, um, I'm going to tap into her energy. I pulled her birth chart from the day she was born, and I also pulled her death chart for March 1st, 2025. I have both alignments in front of me. The day she transitioned, where the planets were and how they were aligned. And I have the day that she was born, where the planets were, how they were aligned, to give me a story of her energy. And then compare it to how the planets were aligned the day that she died, you know, to kind of get a reading from the alignment alone before I pull cards. Okay, so Angie Stone was born December 18th, 1961, and she died March 1st, 2025. Okay, when Angie Stone was born, the sun was in Sagittarius, so she was a Sagittarius. Okay, Sagittarius energy is all about experiences in life. It's all about the journey. We all have Sagittarius energy. You don't have to be a Sagittarius to have Sagittarius energy. We all have Sagittarius energy. Um, and a lot of us have a planet, whether it's the sun, the moon, Mercury, Mars, Venus, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, or Pluto, in Sagittarius in some form or fashion. Even if we don't have a planet there, we do have Sagittarius in our chart somewhere. If you don't know what your chart is, I'll be glad to do your chart for you for $25. You reach out to me in my email. Okay, so with that being said, let me continue on with Angie Stone. Sagittarius is the energy in us that's all about embarking on life's journey so we can gather experience. Experience is what breeds the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding that Sagittarius energy represents. Higher knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. And it is different. It is the opposite of Gemini energy. Gemini energy represents the information that we receive from teachers and books. And Sagittarius energy represents the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding we achieve through life's journeys, just learning through life, the things that life taught us. And a lot of those experiences are not even written in a book. A lot of those lessons cannot be taught in a book. You have to actually live out your life to learn these lessons. So Angie Stone had the type of soul that was very educated in a lot of wisdom. She had a lot of wisdom. And I'm looking at her chart from the day she was born. She has a lot of Sagittarius energy too. Her sun is in Sagittarius, the sun in the sky. I'm not talking about her child. The sun, her sun sign is Sagittarius. Her Mercury was also in Sagittarius. Mercury was the intellect. So her intellect was governed by Sagittarian energy. Her love life was governed by Sagittarius energy, which is Venus. Okay. And her ability to go to war and defend herself, which is Mars, was also in Sagittarius energy. So she had 4 major planets in Sagittarius. Okay, so she had a lot of experiences in life, and she was a person that actually pursued everything she wanted to do just so she could learn from her own experience what's true to her about her life and the things that she wanted to learn about and what's not true. Okay, as opposed to somebody that has lived their own life coming to her saying, look, this is what you need to know about this. This is what you need to know about that. This is what you need to know about God. You need to believe in this. This is right. And that Angie Stone was not that kind of individual. She was the type of individual. Don't tell me about what I need to believe in. I'm going to learn who God is on my own. I'm going to have my own experience of my higher power. I don't need no Christian telling me. I don't need no Catholic telling me. I don't need no Muslim telling me. Okay, so she was that type of individual. Okay, she definitely pursued those experiences so she can learn what she needed to learn. That was going to make her life more rich in spirit, knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, which is part of a lot of our goals and paths in life. Okay. Now, her moon was in Taurus, okay? And why is that important to know the moon sign as well? Because knowing the moon sign, we're able to cast a birth chart, okay? The way I do my birth charts is the way the ancestors taught me how to track time, how to divide time by the sun and the moon, okay? So the moon was in Taurus when she was born. Having a Taurus moon means that she had a nature that was concerned with the five. For one, securing the five senses. Everything that looks good, smells good, tastes good, sound good, feels good to her and in her life. When you have a moon in Taurus, you have a natural capacity to fulfill your five senses. So that's why a lot of people who have moon in Taurus, they are very driven for money and material possessions. And they're just driven to embrace the whole experience of Earth and all of its natural resources and the money and the gold and the silver and all the things that money can buy. Okay. So when you have a moon in Taurus, that is a down to earth moon. Okay. So, she was very down to earth. Okay, she was a down to earth Sagittarius because Sagittarius is not an earth sign. Sagittarius is a fire sign. Okay, but she was very down to earth with her fire. Okay, like a campfire. Okay, and I feel like she had a very warm spirit. I didn't know her personally. I only knew her through her music. Okay, and to be honest, I wasn't a front row fan of her. I wasn't an enemy of her either. I've heard her music. Every music I've heard from Angie Stone, I liked it. It didn't put any bad taste in my mouth. Okay. So I do know she was very articulate. She was very beautiful, very artistic, very fashionable. You know, she had this goddess type of blackness about her where you could tell she was very cultured in who she was as a black woman. You could see it in her appearance and how she carried herself and the things that she sang about and her whole style. You know, so I love that about her, you know, and I'm speaking what I do know of her, you know. So with her moon being in Taurus during um, Sagittarius season, I have to pull a chart that lets me know what kind of chart um, her birth energy is most likely to have came from. And what I do is I put Taurus, the moon, inside of the house of the sun. I put the moon sign inside of Sagittarius's house because she was a Sagittarius with a moon in Taurus. And Sagittarius rules the ninth house. So when I put Taurus in the ninth house, Virgo is rising. That means she had a lot of sixth house energy. Her birth chart is a sixth house birth chart. If you don't know what the sixth house is about, I have a tutorial attached to this video. And you can go in the tutorial below and you can look up the sixth house. It is a timestamp tutorial letting you know what everything of my readings, every sign, every symbol, every number means in all of my readings that you will see, whether it's in my birth charts or the cards that I pull. Okay, so go to the tutorial. You can go now and come back, or you can go after the video is over and you can go research the sixth house and you will understand what the sixth house is talking about when it's being pulled for Angie Stone's birth chart. Okay, so with a Virgo rising chart, okay, because we have Taurus, she was a moon in Taurus inside of Sagittarius's house, which is the ninth house. Okay, so I'm going to put the chart up in the video next to me so that way I don't have to keep pulling up this chart. All right, so if you look in the house of death, okay, which is the eighth house, all right, the eighth house is Scorpio's house. That's the house of death. A lot of times when I do readings on people that have died, I notice a pattern. There is a pattern, there is an eighth house pattern. That eighth house pattern always leads to the fact that either the sun was in the sign that was in the eighth house, or the moon was there, or a very dominant planet that had a lot to do with how they were born and the day that they died was always in the eighth house. The eighth house always let me know whether it was their time to die or not. And according to Angie Stone, when I look in the eighth house, I see Aries energy. Now, how I know that this death was a timely death, it was her time to die. Okay? So, how I know that is because I also casted a death chart. And according to Angie Stone's death chart, the moon was in Aries on March 1st, 2025. Go look it up for yourself. I have it in front of me, but you can look up the planetary alignments. You can go on Google and look up the planetary alignments of March 1st, 2025. And you can also look up December 18th, 1961. Okay? So, and like I told you, the ancestors taught me how to formulate a true birth chart that will give you the most accurate information of how energy flows through a person's life. Okay? So, Angie Stone, it was her time to die, because when you look at Aries in the eighth house of her chart, that's where the moon was. And the moon represents the current phase, the experiences that you're going to go through, the type of mood that everybody's going to be in during that day. The moon was passing through her eighth house of death on that day, and it was an Aryan type of death. Now, Aries is in Scorpio's house of death. So where is Scorpio at? According to this chart that was casted for her, look where Scorpio is at. It is in the third house. It is in Gemini's house, the house of travel, which is how she died. Are you paying attention to how energy works? Because the ancestors are not lying. Okay? Look at where Scorpio is. It is in the third house. It is in the third house, and that is how she died. It is in Gemini's house. Now, where's Gemini at? Because Gemini represents travel. Where is Gemini at? Look in the 10th house, which is the house of success. It is the house of exposure. It is the house of the public. Look up the 10th house in the tutorial below, and you will see that it was Angie's time to die, and it was her time to die in a car crash. Okay, so you can see that from the chart. Now I'm going to move on. Okay, we're going to pull some cards on Angie Stone. And when I pull the first card, which is the Zodiac card, now we're going to allow Angie to tell us her story. Now that we know it was her time to die, we're going to look at the energies. There's some things, there's some unfinished business that Angie Stone wants to come through and let us know. Okay? And I'm going to pull these cards and allow her to tell us what she wants us to know. Okay? So, we are so sorry for your loss, Angie Stone. My condolences go out to your family, your loved ones, that they make it through. Okay? Angie Stone had a lot of Sagittarian energy. Mars, on the day that she died. Let me pull this chart back up again, because she just told me to. Mars, on the day that she died, because Aries rules Mars. Mars rules Aries, and the moon was in Aries, so that means Mars ruled the energetic mood of that day. So the mood was very aggressive. It was very forceful, very direct. And Mars was in Cancer the day that Angie Stone died. Now, where's Cancer at in the chart? Okay, in her chart, Cancer, if you look, is in the 11th house. That is Aquarius's house, because she died in a truck full of a group and her family was with her. Okay, now 11th house is about groups. Okay, so we know that this was a group travel. How do we know that? Because I just told you it was her time to die during travel. Okay, 8th house, time to die during travel, which is the Gemini in the 10th house. Okay, because she was famous. She was a famous traveler. The 10th house represents fame. Okay, and then Gemini represents travel. Okay, now where is the energy of death at though? It's in the 3rd house, Gemini's house of travel. That's how we know it was her time to die during travel. Okay, now her family is in the house of group, which is the 11th house. Okay, Pluto is the planet that rules death. It rules the 8th house. It rules Scorpio energy. Now, on the day that Angie Stone died, March 1st, 2025, you can look it up yourself. I have it in front of me. Pluto was in Aquarius on that day. And Aquarius energy was in the 6th house. It is in Angie's 6th house of work. She was working. She was traveling at work. This was a work-related travel. She was supposed to die. That was her time to go. Okay, look in the 6th house. That's Virgo's house. This is a 6th house chart. But if you look in the actual 6th house where you see the red number 6, you will see Aquarius, which is the group. What kind of work-related group was she traveling with? You got to look at Cancer. It is in the house of groups. Cancer represents family energy. And where is Cancer's house? The 4th house. The 4th house is in Sagittarius, which is what her energy is full of. Her Sun, her Mercury, her Venus, and her Mars was in. I got the lights is blinking in here, so I know I'm tuned in to Angie Stone. The lights never blink in here, okay? But I'm always tuned into the people who I'm doing readings on. But this reading is like really intense, okay? And I know she's with us, so she has the Sun, Mercury, Venus, and Mars in Sagittarius, and she was traveling home. Okay? And Mars was in Cancer. When Mars in Cancer and Pluto in Aquarius come together, especially during a work-related travel pursuit, you will encounter death according to her chart. Okay? So, let's pull this card right here because Angie Stone wants to tell us some things that's going to come from probably a different angle of the chart. Okay, so I'm going to shuffle it. I shuffle these decks a lot. Okay, so I'm going to cut it and then we're going to pull a card. Cancer in the 12th house. So we have Cancer in the 12th house. Okay, you always look at the top. You don't look at the bottom because that's how it would be if it was in reverse. You look at the top, the way it's pulled. Cancer in the 12th house. Okay, now what chart are we talking from, Angie? Because Cancer in the 12th house represents family that is hiding, hidden family. So, before I speak too quick, let me go to Cancer in the 12th house to find out what's rising. Okay, here we go. This is the chart that Angie wants to speak from. This is a 5th house chart. This is who she was. She was a 5th house individual, fame. Go to my tutorial so you can see what the 5th house is all about. She was coming from concerts. Okay, she was coming from entertainment. She was coming from performing. She was a performer in her life. She was an entertainer. Okay, she had a lot of 5th house energy. Okay, so Leo is rising. All right. So Angie, why did you have us pull this chart? This Leo rising chart. So we're gonna pull an ancestor, which is a planet, to find out what about this Leo rising chart. Okay, because we have Cancer, which is the family energy, okay, in the 12th house. Now, the energy of death in this chart is actually in the family. Okay, so let's find out, because she's the entertainer, right? And she's a Sagittarius. And you see, when you look at the 5th house, I'm going to put this chart up. You look at the 5th house. What do you see? You see Angie in the house of entertainment. Look in the 5th house. You'll see Sagittarius. Okay? Now, her moon was in Taurus, right? Now, if you look where Taurus is at, look where Taurus is at. It's in the 10th house. Okay? Now, if you go and look at some of her videos before she passed away, she gave a public social media platform, YouTube platform. Everybody saw it. She gave a speech. She exposed, which is the 10th house. The 10th house is all about exposure. What did she expose? You see Taurus in the 10th house. What does Taurus mean? She exposed issues concerning Taurus energy, her money. Remember, I told you in the beginning, her moon was in Taurus. So she was sensitive about her money and her finances. And she distinctly told the world, she exposed a lot of what Universal Records were doing. She was kind of throwing them under the bus. Okay, and it exposed a lot, opened up a can of worms. That's why a lot of people are saying that, this may have been a sacrifice because she exposed too much information. So let's pull. Okay, look at that. We pulled the moon. We pulled the moon. The moon was pulled in the 6th house. What's in the 6th house? Capricorn. What is Capricorn? Capricorn rules the 10th house, which is where Angie's moon is. So what is she telling us? Okay, this was telling us about the success. What is Capricorn? Go look it up in my tutorial. Capricorn is about our success, our goals, and our ambitions. Okay, she was ambitious and successful, but what did she tell us? They took her royalties from her. Okay, they deprived her of her royalties. Okay, and she was in her feelings, which is the moon, about her work, because the 6th house is about work. That is Virgo's house. So she was in her feelings about her work. And what was it about her work that she was in her feelings about? The success of her work. How do I know that? Because look at where Capricorn is. It's in the 6th house. Capricorn is success. So what type of success was she talking about? Let's look in Capricorn's house. That's how we connect the dots. What do you see in Capricorn's house? Angie's moon. Her emotional nature about her money and her finances. Okay? She's talking to us. She's talking to us. Yeah, it was her time to go, because she's talking to us. She's in a place now where she has all of her royalties. She don't have to deal with this ugly, wicked world anymore. Okay, she's in a place of gold, true gold. She don't have to experience pain. None of that. Pull 2 activity. Look at that. Transition. Look at what I just pulled. Transition and mercy. 10th house. Look at that. She's in a place of mercy. Financial mercy. Financial and all her royalty. She got it. Now she's in a place where she got it. That's what she's telling us. And it's transition. That's 6th house. That's what she was emotional about. It was her time to go. Look at that. It was her time to go. Transition. Energy doesn't lie. You saw me. I shuffled the hell out these decks. Angie is talking to us. Energy does not lie. It was her time to go. The sun is in the 8th house. The sun is in Pisces. That's the house of death. So the sun and the moon from both charts. And this was the oracle chart that was pulled. The 5th house chart is the oracle chart. That's the part that Angie pulled. Okay. The chart that I pulled first was her birth chart. Okay. So the chart that even she pulled let us know it was her time. Okay, do not grieve over her. Rejoice. She's letting us know it was her time to go, because she is in a place where she has the victory. She has the victory. So rejoice. So I looked at it. I looked at the alignments. The sun was in Pisces on March 1st, 2025, and the moon was in Aries. Now, what did the ancestors teach me? Put the moon inside of the house of the sun. So the sun was in Pisces, and Pisces rules the 12th house. So if I put the Aries moon in the 12th house, what do you get? Taurus rising. Look at this chart. You see Aries in the 12th house. That's where the moon was the day she died, and then the sun. Now look at what's in the house of death. That's the third sign in the house of death. Look at Angie, Sagittarius. Look at her in the house of death. 333. Energy does not lie. And the ancestors taught me well. And it is my duty to be of service to humanity, to bring these messages, help people, family members, friends, and the community be at peace with their loved ones.